Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I've got a new art video for you of a legend from Wales, so I don't know how to pronounce any of the names. Let's get started. So let's get the technical talk out of the way first. I'm doing acrylic nails, but you can also do this on your natural nails. However, you will need to not do clear acrylic, but instead a thick layer of clear nail polish after this part. But basically above the nail, then I paint on the backdrop with just regular acrylic paint. Then I put acrylic on top of it. Then I let everything dry between the steps. And then I paint the actual painting, the figures on top of that, followed by top coat. Then we're done. But yeah, anyway, the story is an old legend from Wales, like I said in the beginning. And yeah, basically it starts off with, like, it's a long story, let me tell you that. So I just sort of shortened it so it fits in a new art video. But it is about, basically it starts with two wizards who are protecting a part of Wales, and one of them has a sister, and his sister wanted to be a maiden at their castle, you know, like a servant maiden thing. I'm not sure what it was called in English. Anyway, but the big part of it was that you had to be a maiden to be in that position, which she was not, which she accidentally proved by giving birth to two children on her first day, which, you know, she found very, very, very embarrassing. One of the children, according to legend, jumped into the water and swam away. If that's some form of euphemism for they drowned him, I don't know, but anyway. The other one, however, was more or less adopted by the two wizards, while the mother ran off in a rage and went to live in another castle, because even if you were disgraced you could still afford a castle. They didn't have housing problems back then, apparently. But yeah, so the boy was raised by the wizards, but the mother, well, in those days the mother was the one who had to give a child their name, and she refused to do it because she apparently blamed him for all her misfortune. So yeah, they had to, you know, go in a roundabout way, hide him, make him like look like they made him look like a salesman, made him help her, then she nicknamed him, and then he had a name. Basically, they tricked her into naming him. They also then, because he had to get his first weapons from his mother as well, they also tricked her into giving him weapons. And then lastly, she still managed to curse him by saying that he would never be loved by an earthly woman. Yeah. So that was a little bit harder to get around, but eventually what the wizards did was they created a woman from flowers and spells and magic. No one knows how they did it. It's probably best not to know, because apparently she wasn't very nice, but he didn't realize that yet. He married her, they went to their own castle, because again, housing problems were apparently not a thing back then. And they didn't really live happily ever after at all. Actually, because she was made of flowers, so she didn't have a heart. Her name, by the way, was Blodeuwedd. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry if you're from Wales and cringing right now, because my way of pronouncing it is just completely wrong. I know, I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, it's in the title of the video. Anyway, so yeah, basically what she did on the first possible occasion, she cheated on him with a guy who also wanted the lands that he owns. And then because he was protected by the magic of the wizards, so there was only one very specific way in which he could be killed. And she convinced him to tell her that, because she wanted to protect him from it, air quotes. And he was, well, naive enough to actually tell her how he could be killed, which she, of course, then, without him knowing, obviously, informed her lover of. And then basically they together tricked him into actually getting into that exact very specific position of standing on a goat and on water somehow. And the lover boy, he actually threw a spear at him that he made himself, and he didn't die. No, that's where the plan went wrong immediately. He didn't die, he changed into a golden eagle and flew away. The wizards learned of this fact and found him. They looked for him, found him, nursed him back to health after he changed back into a human and all. And then, together with an army, they went to his castle to get his property back and also take revenge. So yeah, the lover, he flew back to his old castle, leaving Blodeuwedd behind. And she, well, basically she was like, well, I messed up, so she tried to flee into the mountains, was caught by one of the wizards, who then turned her into an owl, which is basically what I painted on my nail here. Her face with the owl face in front of it. Because, well, that was the logic behind it at least. She would be a bird who would only still be able to show her face at night and would be hated by all other birds. I don't know if other birds hate owls in real life, but at least that was the punishment, and it was supposedly a punishment worse than death. So, yeah, didn't end too well for her. It also didn't end too well for the lover, because the adopted son of the wizards actually found him and then murdered him. And the wizards and their adopted son lived happily ever after, probably, I don't know. Because that's how things were fixed back in the day. By offing each other. Yeah. They didn't just do a divorce, no, that would be too boring. So yeah, that's basically the scene I decided to paint on my nails. Now, this was obviously a very, very shortened version of the story, because the actual story, the actual myth is way longer than what I can fit in a nail art video. So go Google it, look it up. If you're interested in myths and legends, look it up. It's actually a really interesting, cool story. So yeah, I definitely recommend reading it if you know, like stories like that. But for now, this is what I made of it. And yeah, in terms of finishing the nail, by the way, I just made sure there's one important thing. Always do the highlights, like I highlighted the eyes and all, because it just makes everything look more lively. What I would do different next time is to make a white base for the owl face first, so it pops out a little bit more, because I feel like it blended in more with the background than I wanted it to. But I am glad with how much the woman's face blended into the background, because I wanted it to blend into the background. And yeah, top coat and we're done. So that's it for today. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video and listened to my shortened version of the story. If you did enjoy it, please click the like button, it would really help me out. And if you want to see more of my videos, I actually mostly do makeup tutorials, you can always subscribe to my channel. For now, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!